Hey, what's up, friends? I just wanted to come to you right now with a moment of encouragement and challenge you with the thought. Do you remember the story in the Bible about when Jesus called Zacchaeus out of the tree and invited himself over to his house for dinner? If you remember that, you remember also the fact that it wasn't a most popular thing that Jesus was doing to the Pharisees and the rabbis and the other holy people in that time. In the book that I'm reading that I referenced earlier called Unoffendable by Brian Hansen, he really touches on this powerful story and how, as Christians, we need to not allow ourselves to be so offended by the things that represent Christ. He goes in and he's saying to the story, the simple very fact that Jesus wasn't offended by Zacchaeus and would be with him and would show him love in front of others and would then sit with him in his dining room is what ultimately changed the heart of Zacchaeus. When's the last time you take and gotten yourself out of your comfort zone to love someone as Christ views them? Are you the one that's struggling with the grumbling when you see someone that does get Christ's love that you don't think they deserve? Being unoffendable as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, means that we are being exactly like God wants us to be. We see people for where they're at, see where they're dealing with that maybe we don't know what they're dealing with. He goes on and says specifically that grace is ultimately what changes the heart. And you know, and I know, if we believe in God, that we've also been shown grace, because that's why our heart changed. Later in, he goes into chapter and says we can love and we can forgive. We can refuse to be offended because God first loved us and was the same to us. I challenge you, my friends, to remember that whenever you're faced with those moments that you look at your people around you and you struggle to not be offended by something, a religious belief, a sexual preference, a political reference, doesn't matter. You represent Christ above all else. And he goes on to say the point is ultimately freedom. Freedom to love. Freedom to have God-given sight. The ability to look at that highly offensive someone and see what is not yet as though if it was. Remember that, my friends, as though it was not yet, but it will be. Everything you do and say represents Jesus. Love someone that way and not be offended.